This is ATL Day Ones, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. And it starts now.
Welcome into ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and Tenitra. We want to say thank you for making ATL Day Ones your first listen of the day. And remember, we're free and available wherever you download your podcast. And wherever you download your podcast, make sure that you leave us a 5-star review. We really appreciate you in advance for that. Because guess what? When you find something good, like Locked On Sports Atlanta, ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and T, you got to spread the good news. That's how we get down on this show. That's what we live. That's what we live. That's what we believe. Come on now. We'll talk about the other good news that we like to spread on another day. But we're going to talk about why the hell the Braves lost last night. I don't get it. I don't understand. We're going to get into a conversation about that. And is the Falcons, I know the Falcons may cut down to 53, but is it really set? Do the Falcons have what it takes to get? Do they feel like they have what they need to go ahead and take on the New Orleans Saints at Mercedes-Benz on September 11th? We'll talk about that as well. And last but not least, and for the culture, sometimes you just have no idea what people are going through. We'll get into all that. But first, T, we got to talk about the Braves. They take the L last night. I don't know about you, but when I was sitting there watching their game last night, and I'm looking at Max Fried, he just did not look like himself last night. He was that wasn't the Max Fried I'm used to seeing.
Right. It was definitely a grind for Max Fried, but more importantly,
it's perfect word.
I feel like if he had the run support that he needed, even the grind would have been something that could have been overcome. But when the Braves go 2 for 13, right, with runners in scoring position, and this is something that's been a little bit of a challenge with them over this 3-game losing streak, right? So if they go 2 for 13 with runners in scoring positions and they leave 10 runners on base, that's pretty much a recipe for losing. And like I said, the last 3 games, they've gone 6 for 30 with runners in scoring position. So that's something for us to watch, because we recall that if you look back at their other, they only had one other 3-game losing streak this season. And also when you look at the moments in time where you scratch your head and you're like, how in the world did they lose that game? Typically speaking, this is one of the challenges that has reared its ugly head from time to time this season.
Yeah, it's truly unfortunate, right? Because that's the thing that, you know, you kind of count on, because there's so many guys that are capable of being those guys, right? The Braves were counting on the young guns. I almost said we. I'll start speaking French right here. Today is not the day. Jarvis, calm down. All right, but you know, you had the young guns. You had Michael Harris. You had Vaughn Grissom. Those guys were just coming through for you, clutch at the plate. And Dansby Swanson, who is the 2-out king, you know, for the Braves. And I think that those are some of the things that you expect, right? But when it doesn't happen, that's when you start to think, oh my gosh, what's going on? You know, what do they need to do? They just need to come through, just like they've been doing. Come through in the clutch. And that's exactly what the Braves, we've seen them do this year, and they've been doing it. And I think that, you know, for some of the guys who aren't doing it, and the guys that, you know, that want to continue to do it, you know, one of those guys is definitely, I believe is Ada Rosario. He has to get his back going. If you're going to be putting that lineup, you know, and of course, Nasty Man, Robbie Grossman, for those who don't know, I call him Nasty Man. Hey, you know, that's just me. I think he's been doing a pretty solid job, but you know, he hasn't come through. You know, when you got 2 runners on, you know, you have to come through in those moments, and I think that they didn't do that, and that's the reason why they did not lose. But you know, if you want to figure out how to get your win on and win a little strategy, go ahead and listen to T, because she's about to drop some stuff. We're gonna talk about Ronald Acuna being sat down again, but before we do that, make sure, T, tell the folks about BetOnline and how they can win. We talking about winning around here.
Yes, so you guys know we are T-minus 3 days to Georgia versus Oregon, and that line is still high, still 17. Yes.
Yes.
So it is set up there. The bar is very much set high. But if you want to kind of watch the trend to see if that number goes even higher up or if that number goes lower, then betonline.net is your number one source for all your betting needs and all the sports info that you want. So whether that is Major League Baseball, NBA, NFL, college football, or any of the niche sports like MMA or boxing or even golf, that's where you want to go to get the information. So it's really simple. Of course, after you watch ATL Day Ones, the next stop would be to go to betonline.net. You can take it in from your laptop, your desktop, or any connected device to get all of that information. And the one thing I love about them as well is I tell you guys all the time, podcasts are about entertainment and information, infotainment, and they definitely give that to you on Bet Online. So definitely check them out, betonline.net, because that is where the game starts.
Yes, indeed. And we know Ronald Acuna wasn't entertained by what he saw last night because I know that he felt like he could have maybe came into one of those situations and pinch hit it.
Yeah.
The Braves said he was available for it,
Mhm.
and I think that was something that, you want to see, just give you a little encouragement and not get too concerned about, Ronald Acuna going forward. But I think that with him sitting down, I think that you have to start thinking like, okay, what are y'all going to do with him? Like, is it going to be a situation where you have, you're going to sit him down for 10 days or whatever? Or is it going to kind of, you're going to go back to the no back-to-backs, no, if you play a night game and have a day game the next day, you're not going to do those, all the different scenarios that Ronald Acuna was going through at the beginning of the year. You kind of wonder if that's going to be something they're going to try to do this time around.
Yeah, I was kind of shocked that we didn't see him last night. I did think
Right.
that last night was going to be the return in to your point, in a pinch hitting capacity. So I suspect that we're going to see that tonight. Like I would be very shocked if we're having this same conversation tomorrow, because then if you get him in there tonight, to your point, you've got a businessman special come Friday or Thursday rather, and then you're able to rest him because again, no back to backs, no night game, then day game. And then you can give him just a little bit of a cushion because I do suspect that for the remainder of the regular season, that's probably going to be the maintenance relief that they give Ronald Acuna Jr. so that they can have, we'll say, as close to 100% of Acuna Jr. available for the postseason.
Yeah, Lord knows you're going to need him for that. That's for sure. They were fortunate enough to pull it off last year, like my main man John Chuckery says on Hitting Hard with John Chuckery. They ain't winning it without Ronald Acuna this year. I don't foresee that happening as well. So I'm wholeheartedly on board with that notion as well. And just one quick note: Jesse Chavez is on his way back. He was DFA'd by the Angels, and a guy that it was really liked in the liked that is in the clubhouse, and Alex Anthopoulos went on and brought back definitely a clubhouse favorite in Jesse Chavez. They try to bring as many weapons they can possibly get, right?
Yeah, because that bullpen has been shaky. I know I said that I wasn't worried, and I'm going to maintain what I have said the last couple of days,
Right.
but they do concern me. I'm just going to be real. They do concern me. And having somebody like Jesse Chavez back in that pitching rotation, just on the pitching staff rather, is always a good thing because the more arms you have, whether that's pitching rotation, the bullpen, or all of the above, that's a beautiful thing. And like you said, hey, maybe it'll be like lightning striking twice. I mean, Adam Duvall, his return has been a good look for the most part for the Braves. So hopefully this fourth iteration of the return of Jesse Chavez will actually be a good look for the Braves as well.
Yeah, we're all about good looks right here on ATL Day Ones. But I think AJ Terrell is pretty big on good looks last year because he ended up making the All Pro team, and we know that what's that voted on, right? That's voted on by coaches and people who really understand the game and try not to be objective as possible, right? And a lot of fuss was made about him not making the NFL top 100, which we know can be very biased when it comes to asking the players' opinions. Now it seemed like ESPN got this one right. Coming in at number 46 out of the top 100 players on the ESPN top 100 players, AJ Terrell sits there, and also he had a couple teammates on there. Kyle Pitts, he was on there, and Grady Jarrett made the ESPN top 100 players. So, hey, ESPN showing the home team a little love, T.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. It's just mind-boggling though when you think about it, because it's like, wait a minute, 46. So he's essentially, according to ESPN's top 100, he is essentially top 50. I mean, let's just keep it real. He's essentially top 50. So how in
Mm-hmm.
the world does he not get on one list, and then he's, sorry about that little background noise for the remix of what we're talking about with AJ Terrell. You gotta love it. It's like, hey, technology, right? Little
ESPN
ATL
websites.
movement going
I'm
on.
playing all these
I'm like,
videos.
yeah, like the ghost in the machine. But yeah, that just blew me away that AJ Terrell was the top 50 for the ESPN top 100. But then over here, the NFL top 100, he doesn't even make the cut. But I tell you what, Jarvis, that may be a blessing in disguise, because that might be motivation for this local product. I would not be surprised if AJ Terrell kind of takes just a little bit of a chip on his shoulder and uses that as some motivation for this coming season.
I wholeheartedly agree, because when you think about the type of guy that he is, right? You know, we've had some interactions with him, and
Mhm.
he's a humble cat, you know,
Yes.
but he still got a little swag. You know, he'll pop out every now and then. It's not gonna be obvious. You got to catch it. You know, it's like, oh, okay, so you know you were good. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's just how Atlanta dudes do. You know what I'm saying? That's how we get down. But I know you got something to say about that. Don't do that, T. But yeah, I think AJ Terrell is gonna have kind of hold that up under it. And I think that the way he can take his game to the next level, start getting a couple interceptions, because you know people who don't really watch the game, they pay attention to that type of stuff. So I think if he can kind of get a couple interceptions and do a little something with it, I think he'll definitely be in the top 100 as far as amongst his peers.
Yes.
They'll start believing it as well. But speaking of believing, Arthur Smith is trying to get this team to believe that they can win and go out there and compete on a weekly basis. And the Falcons have cut down their roster to 53. Were there any surprises? Were there some ones who should have made it? We'll talk about all that next right here on ATL Day Ones with Jarvis and T, part of Locked On Sports Atlanta. Don't go anywhere.